trying to figure out what's going on in here. On this edition of Scientific American Frontiers, we're exploring the brain. It's really like two different people. This is horrible.
I am not checking into this hotel again.
I'm Alan Alda. Join me now for Pieces of Mind. We've gone to extraordinary places and done extraordinary things in making Scientific American Frontiers. But there's nowhere we visited that's more extraordinary than our destination now. Inside the human brain. This brain is now no more than 3 pounds of preserved tissue. But once it held a mind that was filled with 1,000,000 memories of a first ice cream cone, a vivid sunset, a bicycle, a kiss. It learned a language. Maybe 2 or 3. It felt rage, pain, joy, fear, love. It dreamed of flying, of falling, of forbidden things. For the briefest moment, it experienced death. We still know almost nothing of how the brain works. But in the next hour, we'll visit with researchers who are finally beginning to see inside the brain while it's dreaming and thinking, learning and remembering. You're in for an experience which could change your brain forever.
Hi.
Hi.
Alan,
Alan.
nice to see you.
Good to see you.
This is Joe.
Hey, Joe. How are you? Nice to meet you. You've been working a long time with Dr. Gazaniga?
14 or 15 years.
Huh? Just, it doesn't seem like that long, does it?
Well,
Seems
when
like
you're
I was just going hi to you.
And you had this procedure to correct an epileptic problem,
Yes.
is that right?
Trying to stop the seizures. I was having seizures like every day or so, or sometimes 2 or 3 a day.
Feel any different when you think about something than you did? Any differently from the way you felt before the procedure?
It's just got a backup brain, that's all.
That's something everybody could use, right?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, we're seeing the fact that Alan's hemispheres are connected, and that the motor messages from one are confusing the motor messages in the other.
I was just drawing an upside-down duck.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, look at that. It's really like two different people doing the same.
That's right.
Same
That's
task.
that's the idea.
Okay, Joe, I want you to keep your hands out in front of you.
The car goes to the left hemisphere, and says he didn't see it.
Ship.
Okay, good.
Storm.
Okay, good.
Piano.
Good.
Didn't see that.
Okay. Joe, I'm going to ask you to draw that with your left hand.
They got me lost.
Why don't you try drawing another picture of it over here if that will help you.
Oh, phone.
Oh, okay.
Grr.
It's almost as though somebody has given him a secret communication.
That's
and
right.
now he knows that it's a telephone. But up until then, he was blind to it.
Exactly. We didn't see the word. Let's see. That's either a church or a...
Looks like a church, looks like a steeple and a big door.
Yeah.
Has he got it yet?
Church.
He said church, didn't
After looking at the
he?
picture.
Yeah. But he had to figure it out about as long as we did. That's really interesting. It's a picture here of somebody communicating almost with another person.
And the communication is not occurring inside the head. It's occurring out on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
Blob. Really don't know.
You want to draw a little bit more?
Oh, cat. That's a cat sound.
Cat?
Yeah.
The right hemisphere saw toad. And
Yeah.
So there's the toad.
Oh, it's a toad,
Yeah.
right? Now, will
Now-
he put a little three-legged stool in there later, or what? That's great. That's really interesting. And if he had seen that with the corpus callosum intact, he would have drawn
Right.
a toadstool.
Right.
Not a toad and a stool.
Right, exactly the point. I've been doing this for 35 years. Yeah.
And
It gets me every time.
Yeah, it must. It must.
This time, instead of naming the word, I want you to point to the word. Okay, why'd you pick that one?
Use it.
Music? You have a lot of music up there.
Yeah. There was music and bell, and it was a few minutes ago. Last time I heard any music was coming from the bells out here,
Uh-huh.
banging away.
So the bell's
Yeah.
outside here.
So, look good enough answer to me.
One of the unique things to the human brain is this need to interpret why two events occurred. What was the antecedent to this? What caused this? And if you can imagine that a species like us that has that little chip in its brain that asks those questions is going to survive rather well, because it's going to figure out more about the nature of the world than a species that doesn't have that.
Okay, Joe, I want you to keep your hands out in front of you. Keep your eyes fixated on the center. This time, what you're going to see a figure.
What do you think will happen here?
So for you, we're doing a live experiment. Never done it before. So will his left hemisphere say, I saw a potato, I didn't see a face? And will his right hemisphere say, I saw the face, and not comment on the fact it was made out of a potato?
You're going to see a figure followed by a choice of 2 words.
This works. It'll be terrific, but we'll see. So here it is, live.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Okay, point it down.
Are you having a moment?
This is too good.
Point it down.
There's a face made out of books.
Point it up.
There's the books.
Were you happy with what
Fruit.
you're doing?
It's unbelievable. He's doing it. You see that?
It's good. It's going so fast. It's shifting from left to right so fast. I can't keep up with you. You're used to looking at this.
When you show him a face in the right side, the left hemisphere,
Yeah.
he's focusing in on the elements that made up the face.
Yeah.
When you show him the exact same picture in the left field, going to the right hemisphere, he's focusing on the face and not the elements.
And not the elements. If you came down from another planet and you saw faces and vegetables, you might not think there was much of a difference among them. But the brain seems to be made up in a certain way to say faces are very different from other objects.
That's right.
And one side of the brain specializes in faces. huh?
Exactly right. Exactly right. It is an adaptation that we have to detect upright faces. It's a very important. You can imagine in an evolutionary time that all of a sudden you have the ability to detect quickly an upright face. You want to read the expression on that face. You want to know if it's friend or foe. You want to have a set of questions about that face. The old phrase around our lab is don't leave home without your left hemisphere. That's where the action is.
Everything that we do as humans depends upon our memory. Your notion of your own past is nothing but a memory in your brain. Something changed in your brain. You and I live in a world which is about a half a second long. That's the immediate experience. And what happened 2 minutes ago that you think is still here is gone except in your brain.
He remembered where he had been before and only went to the arms that he hadn't been to. So he performed the task very well, perfectly, 100% performance.
also would be a very good idea to be able to remember where the predator was and what happened so that the next time that animal can avoid that situation or to minimize the probability of being eaten the next time. So the same hormones which were involved in generating the fight or flight response, we now have discovered work on the brain so as to make stronger memories. What we need to do is to have two different stories that will go along with this. One which is kind of bland and the other is kind of exciting. Right. A boy and a mother leaving home. They're going to visit father who works in the hospital.
If I could have your left hand out like this, we will hook up the GSR. Okay. A mother and her son are leaving home in the morning. She is taking him to visit his father's workplace. The father is the chief laboratory technician at a nearby hospital. While walking along, they pass the scene of a minor accident. Special makeup artists were able to create realistic-looking injuries on actors for the drill. Okay, that was very good. Now, the last thing I would like you to do today is to rate your emotional reaction to the story you just saw on a scale of 0 to 10.
Probably about a 2.
Okay. She's taking him to visit his father's workplace. While crossing the road, the boy is struck by a runaway car, which critically injures him. Specialized surgeons were able to successfully reattach the boy's severed feet. I'd like you to rate your emotional reaction, your personal emotional reaction to the story you just saw.
A 7.
A 7, okay. Next question. You were told that the father's occupation is a school teacher, a surgeon, a laboratory technician, a hospital custodian.
A laboratory technician.
Laboratory technician, okay. Next question. You were told that the father's occupation is a school teacher, a surgeon, a laboratory technician, a hospital custodian.
I think it was the hospital custodian.
Hospital custodian, okay. There's the pill, and there's some water right there for you. While crossing the road, the boy is struck by a runaway car, which critically injures him. At the hospital, the staff prepare the emergency room, to which the boy is rushed.
I'd say about a 7.
7? Okay, very good. You were told that the father's occupation is a school teacher, a surgeon, a laboratory technician, or a hospital custodian.
A surgeon.
Surgeon? Okay. Despite the fact that their emotional reaction to the story a week earlier had been normal, they didn't experience the enhanced memory associated with the emotional reaction that the placebo controls did. So what we seem to have done, what we think we have done, is we snapped the relationship between an emotional reaction and enhanced long-term memory.
Okay, and let's go.
What I'd like to do now is to lay you down on this bed and please sit close. Yeah, there you go. And have your head in this area.
Life goes by, trivial things happen to us. Important things happen to us. Now, it would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it, because we have a brain that probably has some limited capacity of some kind, wouldn't it be nice to have a brain which stored to a more intense extent those things that are important, and to a lesser extent those things that are trivial? We have a brain that does that. And it's emotions that create the relationship between the importance of an event and how well we remember that event.
Start seeing bits and pieces of their life where these things may be happening that they ordinarily wouldn't think of as being memory. And we have a seat over here. Now we're just going to witness a simple picnic scene. We want you to pay attention to how often either of the folks gets up and down. So whenever someone gets up and down, you just make a mental note of it.
Okay.
Would you like some pasta?
Yep.
Oh, good. I love to watch people eat.
Such a beautiful spot. I'm gonna take a picture.
See my new sunglasses.
Nice.
What's a 5-letter word for quick starting with R? Ooh, it's cold.
There's something on.
It's 2 o'clock. We'd better go. Bravo. Very nice.
Well done.
Very nice.
Well, it could use a little more high drama here and there.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't lack for slowness. It's good.
What's a 5-letter word for quick starting with R?
I have no idea.
Ignore the sun. Wait, there it comes. Okay, right to your lips.
One of the things that we know about memory is that it's not fixed at the original experience we have. The way we talk about the event later, the way we think about it, can affect, improve, or sometimes change our memories, and photographs are one everyday source of reviewing past experiences that may have a potent effect on memory, and we're interested in exactly what that effect is.
Great, thanks.
I want you to look at each of these for about 10-20 seconds and look at it carefully, and how did anything important get cut out? Is it well centered? For each photo, I'm going to ask you for a 1 to 5 rating.
Oh, see, part of me is trying to figure out what this is really a test of. I'd have to say, 4 to 4.5.
Okay,
It's a nicely composed picture.
For number 1.
No, I give it a 2.
Okay.
Yes, it's a little. No, I take it you don't want me to mention whether or not this was a picture of something that happened or not, because this never happened.
Right, we're not concerned with that right now. We're just concerned with your...
Showing you how smart I am.
Right. Fishing pole.
No.
Crossword puzzle.
Yes.
Umbrella.
No umbrella, no.
Potato chips.
No, the potato chips were in the picture. Well, I remember them in the picture, but I don't remember them on the site.
Okay, so you're going to call it new.
Yeah.
Nail file.
Yes, I think I remember her filing her nails, although the picture is also vivid in my mind. But I think I remember her filing her nails, too.
Kite.
No kite. No, there was no kite. There was a kite in the picture, but that's it.
Okay. A man's cap.
I think he wore a cap. Well, see, I think he was wearing a cap in the photographs, and I remember when I looked at the photograph, there's something wrong with this picture. I don't think he wore a cap,
Okay,
no.
so a bottle of water?
Yes, there was a bottle of water. Somebody drank.
Okay. Folding chairs?
No.
No, no way. Pasta?
Yes. You think I could forget pasta? Come on.
It's over.
That's it?
That's it. It's out of
So
your
it had
system.
nothing to do
No
with how
more-
many times they stood up.
Well, that was just to get you to pay attention to what was going on in front
That's
of you.
why I paid attention to everything else. Now, what I'm really interested to know is, were you able to place in my memory things that never occurred in real life by
Yes.
using the photographs? You did?
We
You
did. Even though we told you, you knew what the game was.
Yeah.
You knew that some of the things that we were showing you in the photographs had never happened. Despite that,
This is horrible.
one was the nail file.
Yeah.
That was only in the photo.
You know, when I first saw the nail file, there was this little uncertainty. Is that real or isn't it? And then a second later, I was sure I had seen it. Is it possible to point to some place on the brain and say that's where memory is?
Well, there's no one place. There's no one place I can point and say, there's your memory for high school graduation, and there's your memory for having eaten breakfast yesterday. Instead of being in one place, many of us believe that the memory is kind of scattered in different parts of the brain. Okay, so here's the first list. Smooth, bumpy, road, tough, sandpaper, jagged, ready, coarse, uneven.
Smooth, bumpy road, sandpaper, coarse, uneven, rider, gravel, I think you said.
The next one is bed, rest, awake, tired, dream, wake, snooze, blanket, doze, slumber, snore, nap, peace, yawn, drowsy.
Sleep, doze, bed, awake, wake, slumber, drowse, peace. I think you said dawn. Bed. So in a way, you really can look inside somebody's brain and tell whether they're having a true memory or a false memory under certain conditions.
Under certain conditions, within this one experimental paradigm in a group of 12 people, we were able to see some differences between true and false recognition.
What I think that this really brings home to me is it's very important to say not this is what happened, but it seems to me that I remember this is what happened.
I think that's a very important lesson.
Now what? I sit here?
Yes, please have a seat. Okay. The first thing that we're going to be doing tonight is putting electrodes on so we can measure your electrical activity and know your stages of sleep.
What's that?
It's called collodion. It's very similar to airplane glue. And what this will do is I will clean your skin around the areas that I've marked off. And then I'll use this patch of gauze and collodion on top of the electrode to adhere the electrode to your scalp.
Great. I don't want to rush you, but I'm falling asleep.
Are you really? Good. Okay, and that's the last electrode. Sit down in front of the computer. Put your first two fingers on B and N. Nope, this hand only. You ready? Can you see it?
Yes.
There you go.
Bed. Good. Bed. Good. No. No. Yes. Good. No, no good. Bed. Bed. Good.
And just climb right in. Alan, I need you to lie quietly with your eyes closed. Okay, if you could blink 5 times, slowly and really exaggerate the blinks. Great. Okay, you're all set. You can go ahead and get comfortable and have a good night's sleep. Now he's moving, getting comfortable. And you'll typically see some kind of movement when people first start to fall asleep. The top 2 lines represent his eye movements, and we see that they start a gentle rolling pattern as he falls asleep. The next 2 lines down are his brain waves, and we see that as he falls into real sleep, they start to get spikier. He's now officially asleep. Our experiment calls for him to do the word association test several times during the night. One of them when he's asleep but not dreaming. That's what's happening now, so I'll go wake him up. I need you to do the test. Roll it over. Sit up.
No, I'm falling asleep here. I am not checking into this hotel again.
Since about 2:30 this morning, he's been having a hard time sleeping. He'll go to sleep. He'll sleep for 10 or 15 minute series. You can hear the pens slapping around. He's rolling around in bed now. And he's been doing that for hours now. If we wake him up right now, we got about an 85% chance, 90% chance of getting good REM reports. So what we want to do is wait until he gets another burst. There's some more right there. Look at these. These are really good eye movements. These are fast and they're big. So I think we should go in there now and see what we can get.
I was being propelled by the solar wind, but the wind wasn't behind me. I was going toward the sun. And then I was flying over Berlin, and I remember thinking that this was called nightgown over Germany.
It's only about 6:30. It's still early.
Oh, it's still early. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's try.
Let's try. Okay. Pleasant
Well, bye.
dreams. So how did it feel to you that you slept?
How did it feel that I slept?
Yeah.
I had a worse night of sleep at a truck route in New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah, it was an intersection of 2 truck routes, actually. That was the worst night I ever slept. So,
We're running a close second.
That's not good.
I said to myself, because first I went out flying, I'm going to have an out-of-body experience. The wonderful part about it was I went out through my nose. See? So then I had all these words I was hearing of nosy and then noisy, and I was hearing puns. It was great. But I immediately went up high, and then I said, no, I can go higher. I'm a little thick this morning because I had this funny night's sleep. I still don't quite get how you arrive at the conclusion that something in the brain is supplying story and meaning and coherence to these random images, and not that they're coming up in a more coherent way already.
If you look at your dream, I mean, there you have this thought of, gee, it's going to be an out-of-body experience. And first of all, it goes out through your nose. I'm sorry. It's just hard for me to believe that someone scripted that for you to do. You were just thinking, out of body. How am I going to get out of body? Help me, somebody. How can I get out of body? And something in your brain says, your nose. Our guesses, and it's truly just a guess at this point, is that the brain is just trying to keep up with these random inputs and trying to use everything it knows to make some kind of sense out of it.
Well, welcome to your home for the week.
It's nice. I like the bordering.
Isn't it nice?
It's very nice.
Is this your decorating job? Yes, it's mine. Okay, you're all set.
Okay.
I'll see you in the morning.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
For some people, there's almost a doubling of the number of eye movements after they've had intense learning activity than when they've been just in a summer mood, for example. One unit woof has a P, Q, R, or an S. Is to have a capital N in front of any of those four P, Q, R, or S. Capital A, K, or E to start off with, so you can then make one final gigantic messy woof.
See you in the morning. Okay. What we're trying to do is deprive them of 2 REM periods. So once she goes from stage 2 to REM sleep, I will go in and wake her up. Catherine, good morning.
What? What time is it?
It's about 3 o'clock. I need you to get up for a few minutes.
Any tasks where it just seems to be straight memorization that's involved don't appear to be vulnerable to sleep loss, REM sleep loss. But tasks where some kind of more understanding is involved. You not only have to memorize some rules, but you have to be able to apply the rules. That kind of material is vulnerable to REM sleep loss.
And notice those are small letters to be a one-unit woof. Either a capital C, A, and they can be combined.
You know, I think after this show, a lot of people will be wearing these.
We've had many requests for extra hats after our subjects see how fetching they are.
Yes, a lot of people want to wear them out in the street.
Oh, absolutely.
my cute little suspenders.
We don't want it to slip now.
Are we afraid my helmet will, like, whip off if I turn my head too
When
fast?
we turn the propeller on,
Yeah.
we want to make sure you don't go anywhere.
I'm going to ask you some dignified questions while I'm wearing it.
That button down, yeah.
Here, 7? That's, oh, F7, okay.
Yep. So that's 50
50.5.
kilo ohms, and that's too high, much too high.
Too high. That's great. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Yes, well, I think you drove the gel right into my scalp.
Well,
So
we
you're making
certainly got a
direct
good
contact
reading
with the
there.
neurons there. I think you'll get a very good reading.
Now let's go to the right hemisphere, T6.
62.9. I guess it's time to jam another Q-tip in my brain.
Go in slowly. You have your cables all behind you.
Okay. You want to hold this?
No, it's not.
We're going to check first that we have good contact from all the electrodes and that we can see good, clean signal out of your head. And then we'll begin with the experiment.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just relax.
this looks really good. Keeping your eyes nice and still, and your muscles are really relaxed. Keep that up.
Hi, Daisy. Hi. Hi, Daisy. Oh, Daisy. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. You. Who's this guy? Oops. Uh-oh. Big bird. Big bird. Oh. Look, Annie Kempa's gonna put on the hat. You see? It's pretty. Oh,
It's pretty
as a hat on. Oh,
Okay.
nice, Ernie.
Oh, she's taking it
freeing
off
Ernie.
Ernie. She's liberate Ernie from the hat. Ball, milk, staff, fade, cat, bottle, carbon, cat, diaper, shoe.
Mechanical thing of the number of those silver electrodes. Are there things we should be doing sooner when we educate children?
We don't know when the critical time windows are, when learning math, learning music, learning science, different kinds of learning would be optimized. But I don't have any doubt that there are such critical windows of opportunity. We just need to do the research to determine when they are. What we do know is that from the point of view of language learning, early is better.
今日星期二。
今日星期二。哦，咁你幾時考完啊？
星期五考完啦，星期五住下啫。
星期五考完，翻唔翻屋企啊？今年暑假。
今年暑假翻啊。
幾號啊
8月21日。
Where were you born?
Singapore.
Singapore. How old were you when you started learning English?
About 3 or 4.
So in school?
In school.
Where were you born?
I was born in Yat Yat, Vietnam.
Yet, yeah?
Yat Yat.
Vietnam.
In my case, I started studying French in my teens. I got really serious about it in my late teens, and I thought I could speak pretty well. What were the things limiting me?
The sounds of the language and the grammar of the language are the parts of the language that suffer most from delayed learning of a language. So you probably speak with an accent in French. People will probably tell you that. And your grammar probably isn't perfect. On the other hand, you probably have a huge vocabulary.
Old King Cole was a merry old soul.
And a merry old soul was he.
called for his pipe, and he called for his pole.
And he called for his fiddlers 3.
Every fiddler, he had a fine fiddle.
And a very fine fiddle had he. Tweet, tweedly-dee, went the fiddlers.
Well, there's none so rare as can compare.
With King Cole and his fiddlers 3.
If I didn't have words, I probably wouldn't have many of those memories. When did you learn to sign?
I learned when I was 4 years old.
What brought that about? How did you learn to sign?
When my parents found out that I was deaf. They found out that when I was 2, and they decided to send me to the deaf school when I was 4 years old. And there is where I learned to sign.
That's just amazing that you've got this kind of, the brain is kind of malleable like a piece of clay in a way. It's not so hard and fast as at least I thought it was.
That's right. There's no doubt about the fact that there are very strong biases or likelihoods according to which the brain will develop. That's why in 99.9% of all the people, this is visual brain, this is auditory brain, this is the part that's important for touch, this is the part that's important for language. But these strong genetic biases can be changed, they can be modified within limits, within time limits. This is a sheep's brain. This is the brain of a cat. What differences do you notice between a cat brain and a sheep brain? It's a human brain. And we've cut it so you can see what's inside the brain. Here. Right above the ears is important for hearing. These lobes right here are important for making memories. The very top part is important in controlling movement. See how well she did here. Oh my God. Oh! Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, now it's kind of wiggly, isn't it? Just like a real brain. Back of the brain is important for what? Seeing. Good for you, okay? You can eat that part. Yep, that's pretty easy, huh?
The front part is for, like, making decisions.
The left side is for controlling your right side. There's a lot more of the brain that we didn't talk about. That's because scientists certainly don't by any means know what all the different parts of the brain do. That's why maybe some of you guys will grow up to be brain scientists. Because there's the most complicated structure in the universe. It's going to take a lot of people to figure out how it works.
This is PBS.